Hispanic family that wanted to rent the theater for Spanish language films. So in the late 70s it became Spanish language films and boxing matches. They have boxing matches up on the stage.
Oh my.
But you know, it kept the theater going. I just talked to a guy who just walked out of the theater on the previous tour, and he said he came in the 60s. The thing was all painted over and they were doing rock concerts, and you know, it was kind of a scruffy place, but he was happy, you know, now to see that it had been supported and the theater existed through all of that. But then in the early 80s, the city needed to build City Hall. So they bought everything on this city block. They bought the whole city block and they tore down everything, and they were able to purchase this building for $1 million from a developer who had paid $1 million for it. And so the city bought it and they were going to
Tear it down
and put up a parking lot. So the Junior League became very involved. That's the kind of thing they get involved in, and they literally went and camped on the mayor's front lawn. They raised a lot of ruckus, and they raised $50,000, and they got the theater put on the National Register of Historic Places. So in 1985 it was then protected. So starting with the seed money of $50,000, the city put out a bond issue, and the voters of the city voted to spend, or to raise $7 million to restore the theater. So we got the theater saved thanks to a lot of people who really worked hard. It ended up costing $14.5 million for the restoration, added on to the $1 million to purchase it. So it was pretty pricey, but it's interesting. I spend my summers in Prescott, and they just recently renovated theirs for $1 million, and they're very proud of it. But if you think of the comparison, this is that much bigger and more complicated and more amazing than that. But that's another one if you're ever in Prescott. They do tours almost every day, and it's a really interesting little theater to see. So, okay, we left off then, mid-80s, the architects, restoration people came in and did the research to figure out, you know, what the theater had been like, and like this area here, if you might be thinking, well, this doesn't look so historic to me, this looks kind of modern, and you're right. The only thing that is historic or original is the windows behind you. There's some beautiful ironwork up on the windows. But this area, like I had said, was a restaurant, but they needed to have, feeding the parking meter, so we understand. Okay, wait, where was I? Oh, so they decided they needed to have a bigger lobby, a contemporary look, take that old office space, or cafe space, make it into a contemporary lobby. They tore off the ceiling between the first and second floor to make this bigger, open, more grand space. And they purposely decorated it in a modern style, contemporary style, so that you'll recognize that this is not part of the historic theater. There's a box office over there now, which you can enter from the street side, so if you haven't purchased your ticket or your ticket in the will hall, you can pick it up over there. In the old days, there was a little kiosk out underneath the marquee that was kind of on wheels, kind of a little Aladdin decorated thing with silk ropes and stuff, and so there'd be a little person sitting in that little spot to sell the tickets. So some adjustments had to be made for today. So originally, like I said, there was this was the restaurant, so there was a wall here, so you would have come in the doors there and gone directly into the historic lobby. Now we're kind of a large group, so we'll try and squeeze in, and let's try and don't dilly-dally, because we have a lot of great places to see. So if you could hurry up into each new spot so that we don't, because we have to wait until everybody gets there before we start talking. So I'd appreciate it if you can move into the next space as quickly as you can.